Behind me here you can see what is left of the basil that I have growing. So basically we harvested a good amount of it, or a lot, and this is what is left right now. So basically I'm going to be taking all of this out and replanting it with some lettuce, and maybe on that section or over here I might leave a little bit of basil just so we have some fresh basil. But right after this video I'll show you all the basil we basically made into pesto, which was quite a bit. A lot of basil. I mean a lot of pesto. So I gotta take out these rafts, clean them up, and then plant some new seeds. We literally have too much basil, so we have nothing else to do with this. We're gonna give it to the chickens, which is unfortunate. We cut it all down here. I'll still grow a few, but basically I'll be putting a lot of lettuce here as well, mixed with some basil. But it's crazy how much basil we actually got, which is way too much just for us. I cut off the basil, but just to show you the roots, as you can see there is still a good amount on there, even though I have crayfish in here, so I don't feel like they have an impact on the way the plants grow. Well, we'll see if I still have them in here. But those are the roots. Ideally you want them to be wider, but since my filters aren't entirely set up yet, there's a good amount of gunk in the water. That's why these guys are turning more brown. The roots on this raft are much wider, which is probably because there's maybe more oxygen or less. Oh, look, there's a crayfish in the roots. So these roots could be wider since there's, cleaner since there's more circulation in this area than down there. So when I do set up a new aeration grid underneath here, it hopefully will do better on that side. The plants still grow the same over there as they are over here, but just for cleanliness sake of the roots and for healthiness inside the aquaponics system, it's better if they're clearer. It doesn't have that gunk on there. Here you can see all the pesto we made from the basil I grew in my greenhouse. Most of them are just not pesto. Like this one is, this one's basil only. It's made out of basil, versus like all these other ones are mixed with different greens as well. So you have the basil and kale, basil and sorrel, Swiss chard and basil, arugula and basil, morahea and basil, which is also known as Egyptian spinach. Then you got a moringa, Swiss chard, and morahea mixed with the basil. And you got a New Zealand spinach mixed with basil. So all of this I grew from my greenhouse, and then we made it into all this pesto. So now we have pesto for a long time. That's all for this video. It was just a fairly simple video showing you the basil. Basil is very easy to grow an aquaponics system, as it is with most herbs. So if you are starting off, I do recommend starting off with some herbs just so you can have a little more success at the beginning, and just because it's a little easier. I don't have any basil growing right now because it is colder and it doesn't do too well in the cold, but I do have some other stuff growing in there which I'll be showing you in the next video. If you do have any questions or comments, remember as always to leave them below, and I'll get to those when I can. Otherwise, I appreciate the support, so if you can hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.